She's driven results that not only enhance efficiency but have also set new benchmarks for operational excellence in the industry. Ms Aruna Das.
Charu, leadership isn't about being just the smartest in that room. It's about unlocking the collective wisdom of people.
What advice would you give to leaders trying to streamline their IT operations?
So, Charu, I think people are the heart of every transformation.
This is what the most of the consumers feel today. And that was such a powerful portrait of what efficiency really demands.
And so today, I don't call my operations team as operations team anymore. I call them operations engineering team.
Hi everyone, welcome back to FaceTime with Leaders, proudly brought to you by Directors Institute, World Council of Directors. I'm your host Charu Mehra, and today's episode promises to be a game changer for anyone interested in the intersection of leadership, technology, and innovation. Our guest today is a trailblazer in the IT world, Ms Aruna Das. With over 20 years of experience, she has not only led digital transformation across some of the world's biggest tech companies, but has also revolutionized the way IT services are delivered and managed globally. From optimizing ServiceNow operations to introducing AI driven solutions to managing complex cloud migrations and reducing operational costs by millions. Ms. Aruna has consistently pushed the boundaries of what's possible in IT. Her ability to seamlessly integrate technology with business strategy has made her a leader that companies trust to guide them through their most critical transformations. She's driven results that not only enhance efficiency, but have also set new benchmarks for operational excellence in the industry. Today, we are diving into her remarkable journey, her leadership philosophy, and her vision for the future of IT. So let's get started. Ms. Aruna, it's an absolute honor to have you with us on the show today.
Thank you so much, Charu. And wow, was that my introduction? I am genuinely excited and a little humbled to be here. And definitely, I am here to share my professional story, but also the lessons that I have picked along the way.
Right.
And yeah, I think if people listening to this, if they take, even one person is able to take something useful from it, I feel our conversation has been worthwhile.
Absolutely. And that introduction is well deserved, ma'am. So kudos to you
Thank you.
and let's get started. Miss Aruna, thanks once again for joining us today. Let us start with a simple one. Can you tell us a bit about your career journey? Just walk us through how you got where you are today.
Thank you, Charu, for starting on that lighter note. Been a journey, definitely. And I probably was not cut out for this role right from the beginning. I had really humble beginnings. I started off as a coach in an international computer institute, then moved on to IT sales, and then eventually landed into my dream job of a civil consultant.
Wow.
And I believe that, dreams set people apart. So you should be able to dream, then you are able to envision, and only then you would start achieving.
Great.
In the early years, Charu, it was like, I used to do whatever came my way. I didn't have a vision. But over time, as I met people, different people, went into competitions, took challenges, I understood where I really wanted to be.
Right.
And and once into this, I probably think, there was no looking back. I was offered the first management role within 2, 3 years that I
Mhm.
went into that role.
Right.
I was thrilled. I was like, yes, I'm reaching there. But the very next day, I knew that I was expecting my first child. I paused there. I took a step back and I said, okay, maybe this is not the right time. I will not be able to do justice to both the
Right.
roles.
Right.
And I took a step back. I
Wow.
think three and a half years later, again, that opportunity came, and this time I grabbed it.
Wow.
And soon I saw, I was leading a big team, and this was during one of the major separations that my company was going through. I was
Mm-hmm.
leading 25 big projects, big team.
Wow. Wow.
And on the D day, when things had to go live, 24 of them successful, done very well done. One failed.
Oh,
And there were escalations, etc. I regrouped. I said, okay, let's see what we can do. And then I gave a deadline. I said, we will finish this work in 10 days.
right.
There were, multiple teams that came together, and, then we delivered. And honestly, that failure, it taught me much more than what my all these successes taught
Successes.
me. And that's when I realized that, Charu, leadership isn't about being just the smartest in that room. It's about unlocking the collective wisdom of people. And
Right.
looking back, my journey has taught me that, one, you dream big, uh, and step back if you really need to, because the road to success isn't always straight. So, and ultimately leadership is all about people, spotting their potential, bringing out the best in them. So
Right.
that's been my learning. So
Wow,
yeah.
wow. That was such an honest and refreshing journey to hear, Ms. Aruna. And I really like how you didn't shy away from sharing the lows along with the high, which makes leadership feels less like a straight highway, as you said, and more like those winding roads where views are breathtaking, but you also hit a few bumps along the way. That balance is what makes your story so memorable. So thank you for sharing that with us.
Thank you, Charu.
Ms. Aruna, you've overseen significant transformations such as AI/ML integration in ServiceNow and large scale cloud migrations. In your experience, what's the hardest part of leading these complex digital transformations? And how do you ensure that both the technical and business goals align throughout the process?
So, Charu, I think people are the heart of every transformation. Without them, it simply doesn't work.
Right,
But I feel people are the hardest part as well. The culture, the mindset, fear of change. And now with Gen AI, even the fear of being replaced in creative jobs.
right.
So I think the first step when you start doing transformation using AI, or even, general automation, I think it
Mhm.
is always building trust with people.
Right,
And I often ask my teams, what if we don't transform? Will the industry let us survive? Would we still be there where we are today? And the reality is that this change is inevitable. You have to accept it. But
right.
acceptance alone will not take them where they want to be. So,
Agreed.
with acceptance, there has to be change. The change has to be in reskilling themselves, in
Right,
changing your mindset. Yesterday, if we were doing a repetitive task manually, today let the machine handle it. And but that leaves us with a lot of time and scope for doing analysis, innovation, etc.
right,
So the,
right.
the the machine is actually freeing your capacity. It is not going to replace the human
Please.
judgment,
Agreed, agreed,
creativity, or even ethics.
agreed.
Right, so that is why I believe, transformation has to also happen with an ethical framework. And this is the role of leaders, real leaders. They have to manage that balance between human and machine,
Machine.
with clear role definitions. What should AI do versus what humans should do. So
Right,
definitely,
right.
people need to be reskilled. There has to be, when these models are built, there has to be a human in the loop model.
Agreed.
And you make that AI decision so that uh, you know what exactly is coming out. Why is it giving you that particular decision, so that
Exactly.
the human is able to take that decision, whether it
Agreed.
is right for us or not. So
Right.
in short, I think, Charu, technology keeps evolving. But it's a leadership challenge to make sure that people evolve with it.
With it.
Protect, yes, and protect that human element, the creativity that we have, empathy, ethics. that only a human can bring. Let
Right.
technology do the heavy lifting. Leave the rest to us, so when
Us.
it's it's transformation, then it becomes an opportunity rather than being a threat. So that's
Agreed.
would be my take on it.
Wow, wow, that is such a powerful reflection, Ms Aruna. And I really appreciate how you went beyond the technology to show us the human side of transformation, the doubt, the resistance, and then the eventual breakthrough. And that honesty makes your story so much more relatable. So thank you for sharing your wonderful views with us.
Thank you, Charu. My pleasure.
Managing large scale IT platforms across multiple geographies and cultures must be incredibly complex. Can you tell us about a time when you face cross regional challenges, particularly when building teams or integrating new platforms? How did you overcome these challenges to achieve success?
Okay, thank you again for that question, Charu. And yeah, I really have one story which I would like to share.
Yeah.
So this was I took over a team uh, that was managing one homegrown application, and this had been developed by our German team,
Okay.
and they started somewhere in mid 90s. And in 2018, the German center closed down. And
Okay.
we brought back these core developers as contractors.
Mm-hmm.
And they were still handling this big application. And when I was handling it, I said, okay, the company was going through a lot of transformation, cloud migration, new UI,
Mm-hmm.
etc. So this application was also transforming along
Okay.
with that.
Okay.
And I knew that I couldn't just rely on these group because these are contractors,
Right.
right? But they had been looking after the application. They had developed it for 20 years. It wasn't easy to get the knowledge transfer done from them.
Right. Right.
And there was so much of resistance. So the first thing that I did was, I went ahead and made a connect with them. I introduced them and I, told them that, hey, I have also been with the company. I've been a long timer in the company. And if the company thrives, we all thrive.
Agreed.
So our main interest is, how do we make sure that the company is successful all the time?
Right.
And then I started building a trust. I said, see, when things have to go strategically, this center was closed because strategically the company thought that they didn't want to invest in this region.
Mm-hmm.
And so when things have to go strategically, they will happen.
Right.
But all that I can do is ensure that that communication, whenever things are going to change or anything, I will confirm to you beforehand. I
Right.
will keep that channel of communication open, and you can come and ask me those things anytime.
Right.
And currently, I also have a task to build a team over here so that we are more robust. It's not
Right.
about replacing them. There is a lot of space for them because we are going through a major transformation as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They connected slowly. I would meet them every week, and we would start engaging with my offshore team. I started building. There's one more critical difference that you have when you are working with these European countries.
Right.
In India, you can call your teammates any time of the day, right?
Right.
Evenings, you're
Right.
calling them late
Absolutely.
nights, weekends, but that's not the same with them.
Right.
And
Right.
there are different charges that you call them off hours on weekends, etc. If they have given you support only on phone, that has a different charge. If versus they come
Okay.
on the system to deliver, that has a different charge. So I was
Okay.
like, okay, so I had to be respectful of those boundaries as well.
Right.
But
Right.
slowly, by the time that I moved on, to a different role, I had built a team over here, offshore team, with 50% development done from here. And
Good.
what I realized was, Charu, whatever technologies we are doing, these technologies are global. You're talking to so many people,
Right.
but it's not about technology, it's all about people. And when
People.
you made them feel heard, when you are respecting, trusting them, I think you get that feeling back. So
Agreed.
they reciprocate similarly. So
Agreed.
that's my cross regional thing with so it's left a lovely impression on me.
Impression? Absolutely. Wow, that was such a fascinating story. because it shows that global leadership isn't about the technology at all. The way you said, people are at its core. It's all about people, cultures, and the patience to bridge them, the way you showed in that scenario. And the way you described that tension turning into collaboration really
Absolutely.
brought it to life. So that is a wonderful achievement. Thank you so much for sharing that, that story with us.
My pleasure, Charu.
So, you optimized operations to the point of reducing cost by 75% and leading large-scale migrations. What advice would you give to leaders trying to streamline their IT operations while maintaining or improvising service quality? How can organizations prioritize efficiency without compromising innovation?
All right, Charu. So I think there are two questions to it. So
Yes,
let me first break it apart. I think first question is about streamlining IT operations while maintaining service quality,
right.
and and. And this is the area I feel, leaders have to pay attention to. Let me just give you a very simple example. We are
Mhm.
seeing more and more use of bots in customer service area, right? And they do optimize operations, making self-service very easy. But there are times, when a customer wants to really talk to a human,
Yes.
and and that robo would keep circling you around with different options, etc. You're
Agreed.
not able to reach that person.
Agreed.
Um, if your system is hiding that human completely, I think in the name of efficiency, I think what you're doing is eroding the trust of the customer,
Agreed.
and
Agreed.
the customer would feel you've disappeared. So for me, that's not true efficiency. So I think manage that quality. So
Right.
that's one part of the question. The second I think you asked was about efficiency versus
Of
innovation,
prioritizing efficiency without compromising innovation.
compromising on innovation, right? So
Right.
I think if I have to take that, I think these both things are not the opposites. They complement each other.
Right.
um, and especially with the advent of automation and AI, the work gets automated. People get
Right.
time and space for doing something
Right.
better, right? So they can utilize it for their problem solving, for creativity, innovation. And so today, I don't call my operations team as operations team anymore. I call them operations engineering team. So
Wow.
because, I want them that you are not just keeping the lights on, you are here to engineer improvements, innovate in whatever small ways that you can, and keep raising the bar. So I think finally, the way that I would say is, efficiency doesn't mean that you just keep cutting for the sake of cutting. It's
Right.
about making the right decisions and making that experiment, work for you. Every cost, it creates capacity. So utilize them in innovations, etc. And I think efficiency would create the runway for you, while
Right.
it's the innovation that will keep you flying.
Wow, wonderfully said. And I totally relate to the point that you were talking about when you can't reach a human. And this becomes so frustrating that, as you said, you lose the consumer lose the trust. So I can absolutely understand what you're trying to say, because this is what the most of the consumers feel today. And that was such a powerful portrait of what efficiency really demands. And it's not just numbers, but as you said, it's the hard choices and the people. The way you uh described this, it really feels that this is earned and not engineered. So thank you for sharing that with us.
Thank you, Charu.
All right, Ms Aruna, it's time for our rapid fire round. No work talks here, just some quick fun questions to get to know you a little better. Ready?
Sure. Yes.
All right, what's the first thing you do when you wake up?
I wake up, I think first is gratitude to the God that, hey,
Wow.
I'm still alive. And my first thing is having one cup of coffee with my father. That's the thing, that re energizes me for the whole day. Talking to him, spending that first 15, 20 minutes with him is. energizes me for the whole day. Yeah.
Wow, that is so wonderful. Okay, next one. What's your go-to comfort food?
Anything homemade, my mom's food, that's what I love.
That's the best.
Yeah.
Okay, third one. If you could live anywhere in the world, where would that be?
Anywhere would be, somewhere very green, serene, um, outside the city hustle,
Outside the city,
definitely.
doesn't absolutely relate to it. This is what my future goal is, to live in countryside where there are no traffic, no pollution, and just green, fresh air and peaceful.
Absolutely.
Okay, the next one. If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Pause the time.
Ah,
I think, you are so hustled so many times. I feel, if you could just pause it, think, sit and think, or just spend time, I think that would be wonderful.
wow, that is really nice. Okay, what's your all-time favorite movie?
Lot of them. I think Pursuit of Happiness is one which I
Oh.
find it very raw and real. But otherwise, I'm a fan of all comedy movies. No brainer.
Agreed, agreed. Like you, I also tend to like movies where if I go and watch it, I come out happy and all smile.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. You don't want another headache to be there,
Headache. Agreed, agreed, agreed. Okay, if you could have dinner with one historical figure, who would it be?
Would not be really dinner, but I definitely wanted to meet Mahatma Gandhi sometimes. I really respect that man, in awe
Uh-huh.
of that man, with the honesty that he's done things. And one thing which I really learned from him, he's gone wrong many times, and
Oh, agreed. Hmm.
but he's accepted them with so much of humility. He's always said,
Yes.
and leaders can make mistake. So
Agreed.
it's but the intent with which things are done, and that is what I respect him for.
Wow, that is such a nice thought. Okay, the next one. What's your guilty pleasure TV show?
uh, I think I generally avoid watching those TV shows, those series, etc., because I feel you waste a lot of time.
Lot of time.
Yeah, but then I wouldn't watch a series, but anything that makes me laugh, so
Agreed.
I could just go and see that.
Makes sense, makes sense. Okay. One word your friends would use to describe you.
Dependable.
Wow, that's really nice. Okay. How do you unwind after a long day?
I love singing, Charu, and I think, if I can do that, I have a karaoke at my home, so I do sing with my father. I think that relaxes me.
Wow, that is such a sweet thing. And wonderful. This was so much fun, Ms. Aruna, and thank you for sharing those with us. It's always interesting to learn about the person and not just the professional. So thank you for sharing
It is. Thank you.
your life with us.
Thank you, Charu. My pleasure.
Miss Aruna, in the IT world, software licensing scams are unfortunately something that can impact large projects. Whether it's counterfeit software or unlicensed tool being sold at discounted rates, it can lead to serious compliance issues. Have you encountered any situation where licensing or vendor related risks posed a challenge? And how do you ensure that your projects stay on track and compliant with all legal and licensing requirements?
Yeah. So thank you, Charu. Yeah, I know that that's a serious question, and so ours is a large organization, and I think we have a centralized process for procuring software. So we don't get into these problems of pirated software or counterfeit tools, etc. But there are other risks associated, because when people take these use these softwares, sometimes we don't know how many people are using, and we end up paying much more than we anticipated. So
Right,
therefore,
right.
So there were processes brought in the company, which is software asset management, where we ensure that we get approvals before people started using those softwares, etc. That helped us in controlling the cost. It helped us in control, having a vision of what is needed for the company. But to your question, Charu, I think all these compliance issues, these are not just restricted to software. They go
Right.
much, much beyond.
Right.
And I'll just give you a simple example. Recently, we had a big employee engagement program. Our leaders were
Mm-hmm.
coming from outside, so we had planned for some, music, Bollywood dances, etc. And all was ready. Rehearsals done, everything, and just before a day or two, the hall management, they said, "Hey, you need to pay the royalty fee for that music, otherwise you could be sued." And it was like, oh, okay, so we have not put this in our cost. And so the estimate had gone haywire. Anyways, we had to adjust around it, etc. But
Right.
knowing that such small details of
Mhm.
what could be the implications is very important. It's in these risk and compliances, they fall in every part of leadership, whether it
Absolutely.
is it is projects, whether it is procurement, even something very simple as an employee engagement, right? You have to uh, be aware, you have to evaluate these risks upfront, and you have to put those small checks and balances in place so that you don't get into major issues later.
Right, right. Wow, and I totally understand what you were talking about when companies end up paying more than that they had accounted for. A lot of times it happens that the person has left the company, but the access is still on, so you're
Still
continuously
on.
paying for it. So I
Absolutely.
absolutely agree. And you know what? The example that you gave of the royalty fees being paid, that is something that people don't see until, we don't think that something like that can happen. We're just
Can happen.
probably using that song to
Using.
dance on it, just doing a performance. But
Yeah.
actually, keeping all these things in check before doing anything is actually very important. So, thank you for sharing that wisdom with us.
Thank you. Thank you, Charu.
Ms. Aruna, we know that you've been part of Directors Institute, which plays a key role in shaping leadership practices and governance. What inspired you to join the Institute?
Okay, so yeah, Charu, let me take a stab at it. Um, so last year we had an audit, okay, and our company had a potential material weakness. When I say
Oh,
potential, it means that this particular thing could have led to something. This was not an actual one,
true.
right? Now that had a huge impact, not just financially, but also on our reputation, on shareholder
Right,
value, right?
right,
And where do these weaknesses arise from? These are from the systems that we, the people, manage on the ground.
right.
So overnight, every application that we had was under scrutiny. SOX
Okay.
compliance, ITGC controls, that became the top priority. And honestly, if you quoted that, hey, this is because of a SOX compliance that I need money for, that would get approved.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that was the state that we were in. And that really interested me, that, what governance is all about.
Right.
So that was something that triggered that, yes, I need to join and understand the bigger aspect of it. And and then it's just isn't about credentials or anything. I think recently I was also handling one project, and we missed a compliance step in between.
Okay. Okay.
And because the ownership was not clear who's supposed to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I used a quick, accountability map that I had learned from these Director Institute, and it was a simple governance tool. And so we were able to map the responsibilities, and we fixed that issue very quickly. And that is when, I thought that, hey, this is a practical tool. It
Cool.
gives me a checklist. It's not just a framework that somebody has given me. And as Rick Warren has said, it is wise to learn from the experience of people, and but it is wiser to learn from others' experience, right? So it's like you can learn, you cannot learn, you can learn from your mistakes, right? But you will not live long enough to make all the mistakes on the face.
Mistakes.
So
Right.
better learn from others.
Agreed.
So that was my inspiration. I think I wanted to learn from seasoned leaders. I wanted to avoid those pitfalls, expand my horizons. And I think Directors Institute has given me far more things which are valuable, given me those tools which are I can just implement it. It's not just a framework, I can implement it as a tool.
Right. Right.
I
Wow.
think, yeah.
Thank you so much for that feedback, Ms. Aruna. And that was a striking account of how governance became a tool for clarity, not just compliance. So thank you for sharing that with us, and I wish you all the best for your future goals, whatever you plan for yourself. So
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you,
All
Charu.
right.
Wonderful
So
talking to you.
absolutely, absolutely, Miss Aruna. It has been such a pleasure having you on the show today. Your insights into leadership, navigating complex IT projects, and importance of governance and ethical practices have been incredibly valuable. It is clear that your approach to innovation and leadership is not just about managing technology, but about building trust and creating a lasting impact. To our listeners, I hope today's conversation has inspired you to think more deeply about leadership, compliance, and the challenges that come with driving transformation in the IT space. This has been FaceTime with Leaders, powered by Directors Institute World Council of Directors. I'm Charu Mehra signing off. Until next time, keep leading, keep learning, and keep making a difference. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Charu.
Thank you so much for your time, ma'am. Thank you. Bye.